Welcome to this explainer. We're jumping right into the 81st structural thesis from the Reflective Humanism Project today. It's a fascinating look at a quiet, almost invisible shift happening all around us in the modern world. We're talking about why reality becomes fixed and the structure of a civilization that's slowly losing its interference. Let's get into it.
Let's just take a second with this text. Reality does not suddenly close. It slowly loses its fluctuations. We usually expect societal shifts to happen with these huge, dramatic events or massive breaking points. But reflective humanism is asking us to look at something else entirely, a slower, much quieter structural shift, a world that's just slowly losing its natural breathing fluctuations.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Observation. The slow fixing.
Think about what modern society really prizes right now. We are obsessed with optimization, efficiency, and high-speed synchronization. Our algorithms and our markets absolutely favor whatever can be instantly rectified or categorized. But here's the catch. In doing that, they're slowly stripping away the fluid elements of life. Things like fluctuation, noise, and unfixed states. We're essentially removing the natural friction that allows things to remain undefined for a little while.
We see this everywhere, right? Short words, instant reactions, clear stances, and high-speed judgments. And sure, these immediate reactions definitely reduce friction in the system, making everything move way faster. But at the exact same time, they strip away those unfixed states of our reality. As synchronization increases, that breathing space, the space to simply exist without a perfectly defined label, it just keeps getting narrower. Let's move on and see how this builds. Part 2. Structure. Losing phase differences. This brings us to an absolutely crucial concept here, phase differences. Think of phase differences as the vital local noise, or the slack within a system. Now, normally we try to engineer noise out, right? We see it as an error. But culturally speaking, this noise is exactly the margin that allows us to reinterpret things, to pivot, and to return to different states. It is literally the breathing room of reality. So, what do the mechanics of losing that breathing room actually look like? Well, first, rectification reduces those differences. Everything gets smoothed out. Then, synchronization strengthens as everything perfectly aligns. And finally, local noise and those vital phase differences just disappear entirely. What you're left with is a reality that begins to synchronize into one single, fixed state. As noise disappears, friction decreases. But at the same time, phase differences also disappear. And when that happens, different realities become so much harder to perceive. If everything is forced into the exact same rhythm, we just lose the ability to return to different, nuanced states of synchronization.
Which leads us to the consequences of all this. Part 3. Implication. A frozen stability.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how a perfectly synchronized society, where everything is completely optimized and reacts instantly, looks incredibly stable on the surface. But reflective humanism suggests that it's actually a frozen stability. It's kind of like a river that's completely turned to ice. Sure, it's stable, but it has completely lost its fluidity. It can't flow anymore. So, in a civilization that has lost its fluctuation, certain basic human things become mechanically difficult. Think about it. Reinterpreting events, changing your mind, restoring broken relationships. All of those things require a bit of slack. Without it, even just maintaining silence becomes incredibly hard, because the system constantly demands an immediate, perfectly synchronized reaction. We usually think of recovery as finding the exact correct answer to fix something that broke. But in this framework, recovery is not about snapping back to a single point of correctness. It's actually the ability to move into another phase entirely. It's really about preserving the basic capacity to change. So the crucial point is this quote right here. Perhaps the true danger is not collapse itself, but the loss of phase fluidity. The real crisis we're looking at isn't some dramatic, explosive end to civilization. Instead, it's the quiet, structural construction of this completely unyielding reality, a place where reconnecting and resynchronizing are no longer even structurally possible. Let's look at the final paradigm shift here. Part 4. Question. Infrastructures of fluidity. And this brilliantly illustrates a totally different way of looking at things. Care, silence, slack, inefficiency, dialogue. In our hyper-optimized world, these are almost always treated as bugs in the system, right? Things to be ironed out. But viewed structurally, they aren't weaknesses at all. They are the absolutely vital infrastructures that preserve a civilization's fluidity. They're the literal spaces that keep reality breathing. So it begs the question, what does civilization actually need right now? Do we need perfect synchronization where everything is highly efficient, categorized, and totally fixed? Or do we need the ability to remain slightly unstable without collapsing entirely? Reflective humanism reminds us that reality is not fixed. It's continuously generated through interference, through the natural friction of different phases and those quiet margins of silence. So the next time you feel that intense pressure to instantly optimize or react, take a step back and ask yourself, are you just building more synchronization, or are you actually preserving your fluidity? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you in the next one.